So, recipe number 4. We've got 2 more after this. We are almost there. I'm looking over here. This is my cheat sheet on which order I'm doing. If I'm looking over here, it's my recipe. So, for recipe number 4, we will be making cream cheese mince. So these are made by the Salty Side Dish, a super cute blog that I really liked on Pinterest. As always, it'll be linked down below. So for this, you will need cream cheese, powdered sugar, mint extract, milk, sprinkles, and a little more powdered sugar. So you're gonna have stuff divided out, so I'll have all the ingredients here, how much I'm adding, because some you won't be adding all at the same time. Additionally, I would recommend a higher bowl if you have one, and you're using a hand mixer. They do say some of the key is do not overmix, so when you're adding in the powdered sugar and the milk, they just say to blend until smooth and don't overmix. I'll try to remember to say that again when I get there, but you know how I am with directions. So, with a hand mixer on low, let's combine the cream cheese and the mint extract. And make sure your cream cheese is nice and soft, or else this isn't going to work. Alright, so we got that blended. Now we are going to be adding 2 cups of the powdered sugar and then the milk. Make sure you don't mix this too much, just until it's just smooth. Don't overmix. Alright, I would say this is pretty smooth. I am going to add another cup of powdered sugar and then 2 tablespoons of sprinkles, and then you're going to mix on low. But before I do that, I'm going to mix my nuts again. You guys, look at how amazing these look. Oh. Alright, 15 more minutes for those. We're so close. So this is nice and smooth, and we're going to add another cup of powdered sugar and 2 tablespoons of sprinkles, and I'm going to get the powdered sugar off this book. Alright, 1 more cup. Wondering why I had it all spinning by itself. That's just to get as much off as I could, so I don't have to try to scrape it off. So now we are going to start kneading in the remaining cup of powdered sugar using our hands until the dough is consistent and smooth. So if it's sticky, you want to add a little more sugar because you're going to want to roll these in balls. A little bit of powdered sugar on my hands, so when I'm kneading this, my hands aren't already ready to go for this. So. Now that I am all gooey, I should have just used one hand. That's hindsight's 2020. I am going to get a little more powdered sugar added into here, and then try to use like a spatula or something to do the rest of this. This good to go. Turn a little bit greenish reddish, but I think it'll still taste good. I am almost ready to get those nuts out of the oven. I'm gonna get some parchment paper laid so I can roll these out, and then we will get back to everything. Okay, so these are ready to go. These look and smell amazing. You guys, look at this. So we could have definitely probably put more nuts in here because there's a lot of extra sugar in here. I should probably be talking to you, not looking at here. There's a lot of extra sugar in here, but that's okay, you learn. I'd rather it be more coated than not coated enough. So I'm gonna set these over there to let them cool, but these are good to go. I'm really excited to try these out. All right, so moving back to the mints, I need to get a cookie sheet so that I can line it with parchment paper. All right, so I'm just guessing that we're going to need 2 because it said that this makes quite a few. So I am going to, powder sugar. I am going to scoop some out. It's supposed to be 3/4 of an inch balls, like kind of small. You don't want huge little cream mint, so little small pieces. So let's just do one. So I'd say this is probably a pretty good size. We're eventually gonna flatten them with a fork. So here we go. Alright, so I have these rolled out. I realized that they're supposed to be rolled in powdered sugar and sprinkles as well. So we're going to do that real quick. Get a little bit of powdered sugar and a little bit of sprinkles. I think it's about a 1/2 cup of powdered sugar and the remaining sprinkles. I'm just going to add a little bit of sprinkles and roll these in. I don't think you have to do that step, but I think it will add a little bit of an extra crust and make it a little bit prettier on the outside. So I'm going to get my hands washed again, and then we are good to go. Alright, so as you can see, the sprinkles are still in the bowl. Not on these, but that's okay. I'm covering up my instructions. You're going to refrigerate for about 30 minutes, and then we're going to flatten with a fork, but I'd say these are just about done. So we'll flatten with the fork in about 30 minutes. For the next recipe, we will be making the mint chocolate pudding fudge from the Craft website. I thought it looked really interesting. I found it on Pinterest. It looks like they have a Pinterest as well. So let's get started. For this recipe, you will need semi-sweet chocolate, butter, pudding mix, marshmallows. This is a garnish, so it's not necessary. Peppermints. This is also a garnish, so not super necessary. Powdered sugar and peppermint extract. So these 2 things aren't necessary if you don't have them. It'll still taste great. So to start off, we are going to get an 8x8 pan with foil, and you want the foil extending over the sides. Should have gotten that ready, but I didn't, so it's fine. Alright, so now that this is lovely, we'll fold it from the side so it doesn't look quite as crazy. So we're just going to put this to the side, and then we will start making the fudge. So to make the fudge, we are going to start off with microwaving 4 ounces of the chocolate and 6 tablespoons of butter and water. So you want to go until the butter is melted and the chocolate is smooth. I would suggest 30-second intervals just to make sure it's not making a mess and it doesn't melt. 1/2 cup of water. I already have it. I don't think I mentioned this earlier that you needed water because it was off to the side. You guys need to tell me when I don't get all of the wrapper off. You have to tell me. Alright, so let's microwave this for a 30-second interval and then keep stirring in between. Alright, so everything is melted. I too think this is strange having the water in here, but it's probably because of the pudding and everything. So we are going to make sure this is all stirred up. Alright, and then we are going to add the pudding and the peppermint extract and then stir for 2 minutes. Maybe I should add the peppermint extract first. 1 teaspoon. Miraculously, I haven't used this yet. Alright, and then the pudding mix. I got mine from Aldi. You know the drill. You guys, it's so much cheaper. I got so many groceries. Like, I got the nuts for this. I got the cereals for this, some of it. I got the butterscotch. I got a lot of things for Aldi, like 7 or 8 things. And with nuts, like nuts are expensive. You're supposed to mix this for 2 minutes, so we'll mix for 2 minutes. Nuts are expensive. So if you can get it from Aldi, get it from Aldi. Like, obviously I don't always have everything, but if you can get it, do it. I also realized we are not going to have enough room in this bowl because we have to add 3 cups of powdered sugar still. We're running out of space. That's okay. Just making more bowls for myself. It's okay. Alright, we are going to set this to the side, and we are going to add 1 cup of powdered sugar at a time. We're going to get this into a different bowl so we have more space. Alright. 3 cups of powdered sugar, mixing in between. I do have more powdered sugar, I promise. I'm not going to run out. Alright, so this is getting a little chaotic. Sorry about this. We're getting there. We're almost done. Next thing I make, we're going to make it a little bit smaller. Not smaller. We're going to clean this up. Alright, so now that we have this taken care of, we are going to pour this into here. That was easy. And spread it out. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be this thick. I mean, it's fudge, so it kind of makes sense. Like, I don't think I missed any ingredients. I don't think I flopped it. I guess we'll find out. Alright, so we have this in here. So the next step, I'm going to clean all of this up and then we will move on to the next step. Alright, so we're going to move this to the side and we are going to get another microwave safe bowl. Alright, so we are going to make the topping of the fudge, which is 4 ounces or a half cup of chocolate chips. Okay, so I'm going to have the perfect amount. And then the rest of the butter, which was 2 tablespoons. Make sure no paper goes on me. So we are going to melt this and then we are going to pour it over the top. So let me get this melted. Alright, so we are going to spread this over the top. Just remember, when you're melting chocolate, don't try to go too fast and try to do too much at, like, too long at a time. Because depending on how new your chocolate is, I think it'll also melt a little bit faster. Looking at you, one of my subscribers, I know you're out there, who likes to use 2 minutes on the clock. Don't do that, because it's just melted in 45 seconds. So it would have been burnt if I had done 2 minutes. Alright, so this is good to go. I'm going to put this in the fridge for 2 hours or until firm. I am going to add a couple toppings, some peppermint and then some marshmallows on top just to make it a little festive. And then after 2 hours we'll get it out of the fridge and then we'll be able to cut it. So don't forget, I don't know what I was going to say. So I'm going to get this in the fridge. The center part got a little extra peppermint dust. I just use this. This is the Lazy Man's way of crushing peppermint. It got a little bit finer than it probably could have, but I think it looks good, and I'll just eat the center part myself and everyone else can have the nicer looking pieces. Alright, so now we are on our last and final recipe. It's the Chex Muddy Buddies, which everyone calls puppy chow. I love puppy chow, that's why I saved it for last. Obviously this isn't that hard to make and a lot of people have made it before, but it's my absolute favorite treat at any time of year. We have to take treats in for our birthdays. For our work, you just bring your own, kind of like how kids do in elementary school. And I always bring Muddy Buddies or puppy chow, whatever you want to call it. It's pretty simple. All you need is butter, chocolate, peanut butter, vanilla, Chex. I get these from Aldi, you know the drill. And powdered sugar. I'm here to tell you, if you do forget the vanilla, it's not a huge deal. I forget it 80% of the time, but I will do my best to not forget this time. This also can be a gluten-free recipe if you need that in your life. A lot of Chex cereal is gluten-free. Just make sure that you use that option. And it technically, no, it's not vegan. There's butter in it, but it can be vegetarian. Most baked goods are, though. Alright, to start off, you are going to melt in the butter, the chocolate, and the peanut butter, and make sure that you melt that accordingly. Be very careful, don't burn it. And while that is going, we're going to start measuring out the Chex. So one thing that you want to make sure is do not just dump the full bag in here. I think I mentioned that earlier with other cereal treats, because that is what happens when a lot of people are making puppy chow. They use the whole box, and there's like about a batch there's like a batch and a half in here, so you're not going to have as good of a peanut butter and chocolate to Chex ratio. So that's how you really want to make sure this works out well. So many people ask me what my secret is for this. It's literally just use the recipe on the back of the Chex box. There is one on this box, but it doesn't look the same. Actually, no, it's not the same. It's not the one that I gave you. So use the one on the back of the regular Chex box, or just Google Chex Muddy Buddies. See, there's still this much left. So if you had had that in there, then it would have been not as good of a chocolate and peanut butter to Chex ratio, especially if you get the family boxes. I know a lot of people buy the big chunky boxes, and that definitely would not work for this. So make sure you're careful with that. Alright, so let's do this real fast. So hopefully you can see the peanut butter and this isn't hiding too much. This is about what it's going to look like. Let me get it all mixed together. Alright, and then we are going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. We're not going to forget. We are on the YouTubes. We will not forget. We mess up enough things. We won't forget vanilla in our puppy chow. so this is all mixed together. All you're gonna do is dump it in. And that's why you want a big, big bowl to do this. If you try to do little bowls, it's not gonna work. Another tip is make this when other people are home. I am not. So I will have to get these into bags by myself, but I have done it plenty of time. But back when I would make puppy chow for all my friends at school and high school, I had a puppy chow list. I was ridiculous. But my mom would help me and she'd hold the bag for me. Made it so much easier. Alright, so I apparently was full with memory on my phone because that's what I film on, and thank goodness it was during the puppy chow. I did keep checking to see where we were with time, but luckily it was just when I was mixing the puppy chow together. All you're going to do is add about 1.5 cups of powdered sugar to like 3/4 to each bag. I use a little bit more, probably about 1 cup in each bag. And then you're just gonna shake it together. Make sure you don't shake it too much. My mom was the queen at puppy chow bag shaking. I really miss making this with you, Mom. Those were so many great memories. I love you. And so that way you don't want it to get too brown when you're shaking this, so just don't shake it too much. Other than that, it's really easy to make it with 2 people because then you have someone holding the bags. But these actually did work pretty well because we have the thick bottom ones for storage. So kind of wrap this up, just make sure I don't run out of space again on my phone. And I will be back to test all of this stuff and give you my final thoughts. Alright everyone, we are back. Everything is for the most part cleaned up. You can still see there are some dishes in the sink back there, but that's okay. We'll get that taken care of. I've got everything all plated up. I do have a little cheat sheet to remind me who made everything and what everything's name is, just so that I can make sure that everything gets included. So the first one is the Easy Cinnamon Sugar Pecans and Almonds, and that's by Lilly on Instrupix. So let's try that out. Those are delicious. I love almonds and nuts and candied anything. Those are really good. It was really simple. It just took a while in the oven. So if you try that out, like I always say, show me down below. And then now we are getting to Christmas Crunchies by Scene Dandy. I have like a little baby piece here that I can try out. I put up the rest of them in the fridge, and I'll probably put these in the fridge too. They could probably set up a little bit. I'm going to just take a small piece. As you can see, there's still a little bit. Those are really good, and I don't even really like butterscotch too much, but the peanut butter kind of pushes through. It's really delicious. If you're not a huge chocolate person, that's definitely a way to go. I really like that. Make sure you put it in the fridge though after, just to help it harden the rest of the way. And that does have peanut butter in it. So these 3 have nuts, and then I don't know if Honey Nut Cheerios have peanut or any nut in it. I'm not sure, but these 3 do not have nuts. So nuts, no nuts, but I did make sure that everything was cleaned in between. All right, let's try the mints. I did forget to do the fork impressions on camera, so I did that behind the scenes. It tastes like Christmas to me. I love these kinds of things, these little mint cookies. They are so good. And then if you don't want the sprinkles, you don't have to put the sprinkles in. You could do this, you could dip them in chocolate, like a dark chocolate, and that would be delicious. It'd kind of be like a homemade York peppermint patty. Alright, and these are the cream cheese mints by Salty Side Dish. I'm not sure if I said that, but I just want to make sure that that got brought up. Now, we have the Crockpot Snowman poop. How could I forget that name? They turned out so cute. Like, look. Kids would love making this too. The sprinkles didn't really stick. Same for these. The sprinkles didn't stick on these either, the cream cheese mints. But that's okay. If you use Funfetti, it'll be a little bit better. It's so interesting. You can definitely tell that it's cake mix on it. but I really like it. It's really sugary. I don't know if I like it as much as like puppy chow, but that's really good. It's really addictive, I'm sure. So I could tell. So again, Snowman, Crockpot Snowman poop by the Crockpot ladies. I'll make sure I link there. I think they have a video of this too, so I'll make sure I link that below in case you didn't want to watch this whole video, and you can just watch their like minute and a half video. All right, and then the last, no, not the last. So the fudge. I still need to put this in the fridge a little bit longer, but I didn't want to wait because it's 9 o'clock at night and I wanted to be done. It's really gooey. Really delicious. I really like that. You need milk with that or something. But that is the mint chocolate pudding fudge by the Kraft website. That's where I found it. That's really good. Be careful with peppermint chips for that because I was struggling a little bit. It got a little bit aggressive on some of the pieces. I don't know if you need it. Just be better at crushing them and distributing them than I did. And then last but not least, Muddy Buddies or Puppy Chow from the back of the Chex Box. My favorite. I could eat pounds of Puppy Chow. Pounds. Quite literally. And if you're wondering why I've got my little gingerbread thing out, I just was taking pictures. I was also using some red cloths and stuff. So I was trying to get some fancier pictures. I'm trying to step up my Instagram game. Speaking of which, don't forget to follow it. It's 5 Foot Test Kitchen on all social media. I'm the only one out there. So if you have made it this far, comment down below. Let me know, what do you want for Christmas? Which of these are you going to make for Christmas? And if you do end up making them, send me a picture. I would love to see them. But wherever you are, I hope you have a good night, morning, or afternoon. Bye!